In every museum, they stand like giants from another age. Towering skeletons of T-Rex, Triceratops, Stegosaurus, and Brachiosaurus, frozen in mid-stride as if we're staring into the past. But look closer, and you'll find the truth is made of fiberglass, plaster, and a lot of imagination. Not one complete dinosaur skeleton has ever been dug up intact. Many are pieced together from bones found in different locations, and even sometimes different species entirely. And yet, for more than a century, we've been told these creatures are proven, unquestionable history. So why have we believed in them for so long, and what are they really? The answers may change the way you see history, forever. They told us dinosaurs ruled the earth millions of years ago, towering monsters with teeth like knives and claws sharp enough to shred anything in their path. They put them in our school textbooks, built them towering in our museums, and turned them into icons of our childhood with movies like Jurassic Park, and of course the beloved animated classic, The Land Before Time. If you grew up in the late 80s or 90s like I did, you remember The Land Before Time. Littlefoot, the gentle longneck, Sarah, the stubborn Triceratops, Spike, the silent Stegosaurus, Ducky, the cheerful, and I couldn't say it then, still can't say it, Parasaurolophus, and Petrie, the timid pterodon, all on a journey to survive after a great disaster. That movie didn't just entertain us, it made these creatures feel real, as if they were part of the world we came from. But what if I told you that the skeletons behind those characters, the very ones we see in the museums, aren't what we think they are? Take Sue, for example, the most famous T-Rex in the world, displayed at the Field Museum in Chicago. She towers over visitors, her massive skull grinning like a monster from another age. But here's the truth about that. The skull is a replica. The real one is too heavy and fragile to mount. Much of Sue's skeleton is fiberglass or cast material, missing bones sculpted by artists to match what paleontologists think the animal looked like. And no complete T-Rex skeleton has ever been found. The most complete one is this one, Stu, and it's about 85% complete. And even that is counting the partial fragments. Sometimes bones are enlarged to fit the imagined proportion, which means the real animal could have been much smaller than the terrifying monster in your mind. Triceratops is another favorite, but no perfectly complete Triceratops skeleton has ever been found either. Plenty of skulls, yes, but the bodies are composites made from different individuals, sometimes even from different dig sites. In 2010, scientists suggested Triceratops might not even be its own species at all, but the juvenile form of another dinosaur called Torosaurus. Then there's the Stegosaurus. The very first skeleton discovered was missing many bones, and its famous plates were originally arranged flat along its back like roof shingles. Later, scientists decided to place them upright in alternating rows. But here's the thing, no Stegosaurus has ever been found with its plates in life position. That arrangement is artistic guesswork. And the long necks, Brachiosaurus, Apatosaurus, and Brontosaurus, the gentle giants of our childhood, no complete long neck skeleton has ever been dug up in one piece either. The original Brachiosaurus fossils were so mixed up that science split them into two genera, Brachiosaurus and Giraffatitan. The famous Brontosaurus mount unveiled in 1905 was actually the body of an Apatosaurus with the head of a Camarasaurus. That mistake stayed on display for 70 years before it was quietly corrected. Even other fan favorites like our Parasaurolophus are known only from partial skeletons. Gallimimus, the ostrich-like dinosaur from Jurassic Park, is basically a giant bird without feathers. And Velociraptor, made terrifying on the big screen, was actually about the size of a turkey in real life. In fact, most of our so-called meat-eating dinosaurs, T-Rex, Velociraptor, Allosaurus, Gallimimus, has hollow bones, a bird-like pelvis, three-toed feet, a wishbone, and short arms proportionally like reduced wings. Their trackways show they move just like large birds. This isn't a coincidence. Many paleontologists now openly admit that birds are dinosaurs, which means the most terrifying reptiles we grew up with are really just giant, extinct, flightless birds with teeth. But if that's the case, why were they presented as dragons from another world instead of oversized emus and ostriches? The answer begins in the late 1800s, during what historians call the Bone Wars. Between 1877 1887 and 1892, two rival paleontologists, Othniel Charles Marsh and Edward Drinker Cope, raced to outdiscover one another. And under intense pressure from newspapers, investors, and pride, they rushed incomplete fossils into public displays, mixed bones from different animals, and filled missing pieces with plaster. Their rivalry was so bitter they often named new species based on nothing more than a few little fragments. And that tradition of building an animal's image from incomplete evidence never stopped. Today, museums openly admit their skeletons are composites, meaning they are made from multiple specimens, often from different places and different species. Missing parts are sculpted, and because scaling used to fill in the gaps, these animals are often much larger than the actual bones alone. Even the perfect skeletons you see lying in rock are not untouched discoveries. They're prepared slabs, bones removed from the ground, cleaned, posed, and set back into rock for dramatic display. Sometimes they even stage fight scenes like two dinosaurs locked in battle, something they can't actually prove ever happened. And what about the age of these bones? The main method for dating once living things is carbon-14, which has a half-life of 5,730 years. After about 50,000 years, there should be no measurable carbon-14 left at all. In practice, results come unreliable after about 5,000 years because contamination can throw off the readings. And yet, measurable carbon-14 has been found in dinosaur bones, said to be tens of millions of years old. That's impossible if the standard timeline is true, but it fits perfectly if these bones are a few thousand and not million years old. The truth is that the dinosaurs we know today are a mixture of real bone fragments, artists' plaster, and a lot of imagination. They've been shaped into impressive forms, displayed as if they were dug up whole, and sold to us as fact. And while the Bible describes massive creatures like Behemoth in Job 40, an herbivore with a tail like a cedar, it does not describe anything like the two-legged predators with tiny arms we've been shown. So the next time you stand in front of a towering skeleton in a museum, remember, you're not looking at a perfect window into the past. You're looking at a story built from partial evidence, artistic guesswork, and a tradition that began over a century ago. And stories, no matter how beloved, can be wrong. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more unfiltered truth you won't find in a classroom or a museum, like the video, share it with a friend, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. God bless you all and your families, and God bless these United States. Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. Maranatha.